Hi everyone, this is Lori. I've been asked if I would do a tutorial showing how I put together my canvases, and I'm getting ready to do another one, so I thought I'd go ahead and do this tutorial for you. I start with an 8x10 canvas. It's only a ½ inch wide, just a regular white painter's canvas. And because the first process I do takes quite a bit of drying time, I'm going to go ahead and just describe to you how I started with this. I went ahead and pulled out one of my masks. This is the Mini Paradise. I really like this one a lot. So placed that down here in the corners and one up here on the top, and used my gesso. Now I've shown in a few other videos how I use that with a mask. Then I let that dry completely, and once that was completely dry, then for the white portion up here, I went ahead and used my Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist pearls and sprayed over the top third of it up here. And for the bottom, I wanted a pinkish kind of glow to the bottom of it. And I had ordered these from Jewels of the Jewel Box, and I've never tried them before, but it looked pretty easy to use. This is the Lindy Stamp Gang Magicals, and I used the saltwater taffy. And then what I did with it was just I added a little water to the top of this lid, and with my paintbrush and the taffy, just get your paintbrush wet and dip down in there, and you just have just a little bit in there and just kind of mix it up. And then I went ahead and brushed over the canvas. It kind of seals it off and gives it a nice little pearlish pink glow to it, and that's exactly what I wanted to achieve with it. So started with that first, and then went to find some, I wanted some browns and pinks to set this off, because I'm going to use some pink and white flowers on here. And I believe this strip of paper, this had some pieces off of it. This is 2 inches wide. I believe it's an SEI's collection. I don't have the rest of the pad, so I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So I took it at 2 inches across. I'm also going to make sure it wraps around the canvas on the sides too. And then just have a Studio G stamp and finish off the edges of the strip, just kind of running it down the sides. Now you can distress this or stitch on it or whatever else you'd like to do, but I actually want kind of a more simple look to it, so that's all I'm going to do to that strip, other than adding the rest of the stuff on top of it. Jewels of the Jewel Box also sells 3-in-1 beacons. If you aren't able to find it in your local store, she has it in hers. I use that to adhere down most of everything I work with, because I just find that it will hold everything down. You can glue just about anything with it, and I have a hard time with hot glue popping off later after it dries. And with this, I don't have that problem if you let it dry. So anyway, I'll go ahead and get some on here. It's just a liquid gel, like some of your other products that people use. And it'll make those, what we call angel hair strings, come off of it, but that's okay. I just make sure that I go ahead and get some up near the edges. And I'm going to put this on the upper third of the canvas. It's going to have to kind of eyeball it here a little bit to get it straight across there. And I'm going to wrap it around. and then just hold it in place for a few minutes. Doesn't take long with the 3-in-1. Make sure I get that pressed down in there. And see, I'm going to just wrap it around. I think it'll help kind of give the edge of it just kind of a nice finished look. I love the browns and pinks together. I think that's looking exactly like I wanted it to. All right. I think I got that down there. And like on my other canvas, I really like the look of the beads coming down over this pattern here. And so I'm gonna do that again with this. This one's a little longer than I want. This is just some really flat, iridescent type trim. I'm just going to cut that. Start with my first one. And again, I can use this on the back of it, just touching it down in a few places along the way. You're going to flip it over. If it doesn't flip over first on you. Alrighty. I just kind of want a cascading down effect with it. There we go, and I'm going to place another one. Let's see. Down on this side to cut that off. Of course, you could run anything down here you wanted to. Some lace. I just kind of want a simple look to it, so I think I'm just going to go with this and then drape some flowers down. I just think this adds a little, just another look and some more texture. I might add more later, but I'm going to go ahead and definitely add these 3 strips here at the moment. I think odd numbers of things placed on a canvas looks good together. There we go. It's another reason I like this too, is I'm not burning my fingers. I had a heck of a time with the glue gun, constantly burning my fingers. You can also glue lace with it, fairly easy. I think, again, I've cut this long enough that I want it to actually wrap around my canvas. And I want a little bit of the brown to show through. So flip it over. And I just enough, I think, just a little dab of glue on each one of these scallops to kind of hold them down in place. You don't have to put a lot. Once it's completely dry, this will hold it down. Just kind of want to tack them in a few places on here. And then definitely run a bead of it down the main part here. Doesn't take a whole lot. And make sure I get enough on the ends because, like I said, this is going to wrap around the canvas. And right back in here, see if I can get it centered. And just tap it down where it can wrap it around here. And if you have a place that you need to tack down more, you can just pull it up, add a little bit more. There we go. I love this lace. I can pick this up at Walmart. It's just a lovely scalloped lace. I like the finished look of it. I'm actually going to be placing a frame somewhere off in here. So when I make the flower arrangement, I want to make sure that I'm leaving enough room for that. And I may not use this frame. I have a round one I'm thinking about using too. But so there, I'm just going to lay this here so that I have the area that I'm going to keep that frame in so I don't cover that up. I have some, these are just made out of ribbon and satin, pearls, and some little beads in them. The flowers at the back here almost have kind of a apple blossom type of look to them, and I thought that actually did too, so I'm going to use it like that. I'm going to go ahead and cut off. I don't need the stem in this one, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. I have two of them. I'm going to use two like this in this arrangement. And I kind of want them to lay. I'll make sure that I glue them so that they're kind of laying off like that. I also have some heart wires, and I may or may not use those in there. Let's see how I'm gonna. This might work good back in there in the back. And I have some of these that I've taken and curled the. These are by Trico. I love their flowers. Let's see. So a lot of times I'll lay out the flowers in different arrangements to see how I like the way they look. To get the curlicue, I have a wooden skewer that I use, and I just flatten it out to the back, start down here near the point and wrap around. I kind of like the little curlicues throughout the arrangement. Just adds a little something there. And then sometimes when you're going to have those, you know, you can even tip them up like this and kind of tuck them out here. I have another one here I'm going to add in. Let's see. Said I'm just going to kind of play around with this before I glue them down to see if I can get the look that I want to get out of this. Let's see. A smaller flower coming out. That one will probably be tucked up under there more. And I have some little rosebuds. Let's see. Actually don't need a stem sticking out of that one. Okay. Then I'll put some out that way. So I'm liking that well enough that I'm going to go ahead and start moving these back out and gluing them down. I like that arrangement. I think it's going to show enough of it. So on the wire here, I used my copper Verde paint on the black wire, just to kind of give it a coppery, copper look to it, kind of gold look to it. And again, my 3-in-1 just around the edges where I want it to stick down. Let's see. Put it up a little bit above the arrangement. You know, I guess see a little bit more of it that way. Yep. The Verde metal paint sticks well to metal. I sell that in my Art Fire shop. There'll be a link down below if you're interested in that. Also these wire hearts, I still have some of those left if you're interested. Okay, stick that off to this side here. And just push it down a little bit. There we go. And now, let's get these flowers in here. This one kind of pops up, and I don't really want it to pop up, so I'm going to actually put a little dab of glue onto the inside of the petal there. Kind of hold it down to it. Because I like the look, but I don't need it spread out quite that far. Another one right here. because I kind of want that to shoot out at that angle. This one I might leave open a little bit more. Now with 3-in-1, because I've been talking about it so much, you really don't need a lot like on the inside of the flower, but then on the outside here you can go ahead and get quite a bit on there, just about like you would do if you had a glue gun. And we can see how much I've got on there, because I really kind of want that to stay right where I'm going to put it. Oops, I want it up here. I'll hold it in place. It'll start adhering down, but you can actually go back in and press it just a little bit more after it starts drying, and it'll hold it even better. Okay, offset that one just a little bit. Hold that in place. Use one of these to kind of push this all forward this direction. Put a little glue on the back of it down here on the canvas, and get this one kind of pushed up against there to kind of hold it in place. Oops, I don't want that leaf up there over it. These Trico ones are really stiff. Kind of good for this purpose, to kind of push that up there. Just want to offset that one a little bit. And let's see, I want to look okay up that way. If this starts getting, your 3-in-1 starts getting too sticky, I just use a paper towel on the tip of it here. And just get it, rub it and keep pulling on it, and you'll get the tip cleaned off, because it can get a bit sticky. Now, I'm going to get a, let's see, I have a pink one. Let's get another pink one. So oftentimes I set an arrangement down and I end up pretty much doing something totally different by the time I start gluing. Because then as I'm going along, it looks a little different. Let's see, this one matches that one, so I'm going to bring that one in here. Get the strings out of there. And a white one. Let's see how that's going to look if I leave the little tail hanging out here. Press back down on those. No, don't want a tail hanging out on that side. I'll leave enough on this one for stability. And my bottle's getting low. There we go. Put it down on the stem. And I'm going to tuck that one in. So you want to start with your larger flowers and work out to your smaller ones out on the edges. I'm going to tuck this one down in here, and I need one more, and another small rosebud I think would look good in there. I'm leaving a little bit of the stem in there, just I can add more glue, and this flower is tiny and be able to get it to stick down in there. A lot of times people aren't sure how to arrange flowers. You could actually go on YouTube and websites and go look at floral arrangements that florists do, and you can get a lot of ideas on placing your flowers in your own arrangements. I actually worked as a florist for about 3 years and learned a lot about placing flowers. So that's where I get mine from. And I always put them down, kind of play with them, see how they look, pull them back up. You know, you can you're not set in concrete that that's the way you have to do it the first time you lay it down. You can pull it back up and add some more to it. I'm not sure, like this guy sticking up there. There we go. And I want to imitate the flowers on that side. Let's see how one will look coming down here. Well, I think that'll look nice if we had some just kind of draped down the canvas too. So add a little more curl to that one. Oh yeah, I like that. Now typically I also use glimmer mist and put over top of the flowers to give them a little bit of a shine. But I actually want the flowers just to have this flat look to them, so I'm going to leave them like that. There's another rose that'll look nice out this other side here. Then once you accent it with pearls and a few other things, a little more detail, add your little charms in there and stuff, that also gives it a really nice textures and looks in your arrangements. See, I have some more rosebuds here. You know, one thing I found out with this 3-in-1 glue, that if you're painting something, you know how when you're painting, like with the Lindy's or any of that other kind of stuff, how your hands get all stained. One of the tricks that I learned with the 3-in-1 is to actually, my lid was coming off there, actually take and coat your fingers with the 3-in-1, let that dry, and then do your spraying, because the 3-in-1 will just peel off, and it peels the paint off, and then you've got clean hands again. I did that by accident one time. I had so much glue on my fingers from a project I was gluing, and then when I got done, I looked down and I thought, hey, that peels that spray paint off beautifully. So there's a trick. If you don't like wearing gloves, wear 3-in-1. Okay, so I'm going to kind of imitate that downward that I did with the beads here, so I'm going to bring some roses down into it. And I need a couple more off that direction. Let's see what one more would look like. If I just kind of draped it down in there. Might be too much. Okay. I'll tuck that up underneath there. So you want to offset them. I don't want them all the same height. I want one to be a little bit longer, one shorter. That'll work. Just a little bit over the ends. Also with 3-in-1, you can use a glue eraser. It's kind of a rubber looking, I'm just going to get that up in there. A little rubber thing that if you get the 3-in-1 on a place you don't want it, after it's almost completely dry, and you could take and rub it and it'll come right off. Oftentimes just even with your fingers you can go back in where it is stuck to something and rub it off. Okay, so I have a rose here. I want to make sure that I get kind of off that direction. I'm going to imitate the same thing I did on one side of the canvas to the other side. tuck that in there too. I'm also going to do a little bit of an arrangement right off this side of the frame. I have a piece of glass that's going to go in the frame. I'm going to bring them up on pop dots so that a picture can be slid in behind there so that it can be a useful frame with a picture in it. I have in my Art Fire store a copper sheet that you can bend and mold and do stuff with. It also can take the Verde paints and patinas. And I want to add, being I have some of the gold in there and the brown I think matches well, I'm going to go ahead and show you that even with a punch, you can punch right through this copper sheets. And let's see if I can get up there and see that heart in there. I've already taken 3 of these and added, I don't know if I can get in there so you can see this, I've added almost a textured look to it. Anyway, let me show you how I did that because I don't know how to describe it otherwise. I've made it so that it's slightly rounded too, so that it's going to lay in there. I took my end of my paintbrush and went around and turned it over and kind of pressed in and rolled it around. Hammered look, that's what I was trying to get. Like when they hammer metal and they put a texture and a look into it. Well, with this sheet, copper sheet, you can do that with it because it'll form around it. And so you get kind of a hammered, little hammered look. I don't know if that shows very well. My lighting has changed on me now that I've gotten close there. It's not, can you see that? Let me see if I can zoom in so you can see. There. Lighting is so hard up here. Okay, so I've got a few of these little hearts that I'm going to tuck in around in the arrangement. Again, your 3-in-1 will just glue that right down. Of course, you want to do it on the edges that are actually sticking out because I've kind of made this slightly rounded. But I just want to throw some little hearts in here. Yep. One. You could do this with little charms and stuff too. Just starting to play around with this copper sheeting and figuring out fun little things to do with it. Let's see. That's something right off in here. Just think I'd make a fun little accent in there since I've got the wire hearts to then kind of go with. And it's sticking more to my hand than it is the flowers. Let me use this. There we go. And let's tuck one more right up in there. We have to do this video in 2 videos so that you can see the finished product. There we go. Just adds a little color and shine back in there. A little bit of an accent, and then kind of goes with the theme of the hearts that we already have there. I thought about trying to put a little bird in there somewhere. Jules of the Jewel Box gave me these adorable little doves. Aren't they cute? Thank you, Jules. Such a sweetheart. See if I can stick him in there somewhere. What does he look good at? Almost need another little flower. One more flower back in here. I see an open spot. Needs a flower.